With that out of the way, let's get to the first email today. And the first email today comes to us from Tammy1. Oh my God, I hope that's a Parks and Rec reference, Tammy. If that's a Parks and Rec reference, you are now my favorite person of the day. Anyway, Tammy writes, I saw Bohemian Rhapsody this weekend and absolutely loved it. I also saw that it finished at #1 at the box office. With all the controversy and mixed reactions to the movie, do you think Fox will consider this film a successful film? All right, thanks a lot for the question, Tammy1, and everybody look out for Tammy2. Yes, Bohemian Rhapsody has just come out this past weekend, absolutely dominated the box office. It more than doubled the second place film at the box office. And some people were wondering, how well would this film do? Now, as of right now, Bohemian Rhapsody has a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's got the tomato there now, right? It was at 58, so it had the little green splatter. Now it's got a tomato. Audiences seem to be reacting very well to the movie. I loved it. I loved Bohemian Rhapsody. I thought it was fantastic. And there are some people who didn't like it, and there were some people, to be fair, who went in predisposed to not like it because of who's directing and things like that. But that's an issue for another time. So there was some question marks and there were some projection numbers and whatever. Well, it absolutely dominated. It did great. It is the second largest opening for a musical biopic of all time, only behind Straight Outta Compton. So basically, here's our weekend box office results. Bohemian Rhapsody comes in making $50 million on its opening weekend. Again, that makes it the second largest musical biopic of all time for its opening weekend. The Nutcracker, it bombed exactly where we thought it was going to flop. The projection had it coming in at $20 million. That's what it came in at. Easily the lowest opening weekend for a Disney film this year by a mile and a half. With the expense of the Nutcracker and all that kind of stuff, this is a Titanic level disaster for Disney, unfortunately. Coming in third place is Nobody's Fool with Tiffany Haddish. I love Tiffany Haddish. But directed by Tyler Perry, this is one of the lowest opening weekends for any Tyler Perry movie in history at $14 million. A Star is Born hanging in there great. It's in its fifth weekend now, made another $11.1 million. And then Halloween gets in the top five, also making $11 million, just $0.1 million less than A Star is Born. Venom, by the way, for the first time in 5 weeks has dropped out of the top five. It came in sixth place and made like another $8 million. And it's at something like $540 million worldwide now. So it's probably going to hit that $550 million mark. But again, huge win for Bohemian Rhapsody. I think if you probably asked a year ago, you know, this Bohemian Rhapsody biopic and a Disney film, The Nutcracker, is going to be opening on the same weekend, I bet a lot of people would have been guessing that The Nutcracker would have taken the top spot. And I might have been one of them, to be honest. No, I take that back. Not might have been. I would have been one of them. Yeah, if you'd asked me a year, if we could time travel right now, go back to John Campea 1 year ago and say, hey, opening weekend in 1 year, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Nutcracker, which one's going to take first place? I would have said Nutcracker. But bad trailers. They had sent mixed messages about the film. It didn't feel coherent at all. They didn't know what they were trying to communicate to the potential audience, and hence you get $20 million opening weekend. But the bottom line here is, should Fox, at this point, consider Bohemian Rhapsody a successful film? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think its worldwide haul for opening weekend was like $125 million. It might even been north of that. Remember, this is a movie that costs around $50 million to make, right? And on its first weekend, it's brought in $120 million worldwide for a musical biopic, for heaven's sakes. With some controversy, so remember they with only a couple of weeks left to film, they fired director Bryan Singer. He, of course, the DGA, looked at it and they determined that Bryan Singer is the director of record, so he gets the directing credit. From the reports I read, he did come in and oversee the editing of the film at that point, so it is a Bryan Singer film, but still there was controversy, there was discussion, there's complaints by some Queen purists saying this wasn't accurate and that wasn't accurate, all that kind of stuff, and yet it still came out as the second biggest opening for a musical biopic in history, almost triples its budget in its first weekend worldwide. By any measurement, Fox has to look at this movie and say, oh, damn right, this is a success. This is a big success. They're going to make a lot of money on this movie. The critics more critics like it than don't. More audience members seem to like it than don't. I had a great time with it, so I'm happy to see it. So yes, the bottom line is, yes, this is a successful movie, absolutely.